She was friendly with the hunter's daughter, I understand. Did she spend any time with her that morning? Do you know if she was friendly with any of the other young people in the village? And you knew about that at the time? Had you met any of those young people when you were staying here last summer? Had you seen them when they came up to the hunter's property? There was one boy in particular who Becky became quite close to, wasn't there? James? I know she's only 13, yes. I wasn't implying. But he wasn't someone you were aware of. Not at the time. So, that morning, Becky went across to the hunter's house and you assumed she was spending some time with their daughter Sophie. And she's someone who makes friends easily, would you say? Back at home, is she sociable? Does she have a range of friends? Are there any you've been uncomfortable about her associating with? Have her friendship groups changed recently? Does she spend much time on the internet? Do you monitor that at all? So she was with Sophie, and by late morning she still hadn't come back. But you had no cause for concern, you had no reason to think they'd gone far. The weather was still wet at that point, wasn't it? And the original idea for the walk had been to get out before lunchtime, but with the weather you'd put that on hold. And late in the morning you went across to fetch Becky from the hunter's house. Did you speak to either of Sophie's parents? Both of them? So Sophie and Becky were there by themselves? Just Becky by herself? Did you think the hunters would have minded that? Sophie and her parents had been gone all morning, as far as you knew. Becky hadn't seen them leaving. Were you surprised by this? Were you concerned? How long have you known the hunters? Would you describe them as friends? If we could... to keep to... So, you had lunch, the three of you, together, and there was some discussion about how Becky had spent the morning, was there? How would you characterize her response? So there was some tension. Of course. Well, that's teenagers. And is Becky someone comfortable with her own company, would you say? Back at home, would she often spend time by herself in that way, that you know of? So, were you concerned that her behaviour that morning was out of character, that there might be something else behind it? But you didn't discuss that with her. You put it down to being on holiday, being in a different environment. Just usual teenage restlessness. You got lunch ready. And for lunch you had? By this point the weather was improving, the rain had stopped, the sky was clearing, and the idea of a walk was suggested again. A decision was made. I know. A decision was made, and immediately after lunch you began to gather a few things together, look at a map, make a plan. Can I ask what you took with you? So you weren't planning on it being a long walk? You didn't think it worth taking extra waterproofs as a precaution? Snacks, a flask? No, of course. And... no. Can I ask how well you know the area? Are you experienced walkers, would you say? But this was a route you'd walked in the summer when you were here before. You'd followed that same path from the visitor centre, up the hill towards the rock formations on the ridge. Blackpool Rocks, right? And had Becky been with you on those occasions? Would you say it was a route she was familiar with? But on this occasion she was reluctant. Perhaps I'm curious. Did you do a lot of walking when she was younger? Would you say the reluctance on this occasion was more around the tensions between you, rather than the walk itself?